Some houses carry memories, others carry warnings. And then there are those that carry something far more terrifying, things that cling, that whisper, that never left. This story takes place in an old house with beautiful Kappa's windows that catch the fading light, and a lush garden where wild plants grow as if tended by unseen hands. But behind its charm lies secrets better left alone. We were just looking for a place to rent. A family of 5, tight on budget, trying to start fresh. A family friend offered their ancestral house big with a garden and cheap. The only catch? We couldn't use one room on the second floor. And we weren't allowed to touch one section of the garden with fruits and vegetables. Strange, but we needed the space. When we visited, the neighbors started. Not curiosity, more like concern or warning, but I just shrugged it off. Those neighbors? Just a bunch of gossip mongers, always talking without knowing the facts. The off-limits room didn't bother us that much. Anyway, the house was big enough to ignore one locked door. Besides, we really needed a new place badly, and we thought this house was a blessing to us. Our nightmare began the first night. Heavy footsteps echoed above like boots marching back and forth, slow and deliberate, pounding against the old wooden floor. It wasn't just footsteps. Dad shrugged it off, said it was just the wood settling, an old house breathing. But what about the sound of an airplane flying low over a roof? Loud and constant, like it was circling, ready to land. Except it never did. We always thought the soil in the garden was extra fertile. Why not? The vegetables and fruits in the forbidden section were thriving, the beans spilling over the bamboo picket fence, the tomatoes practically glowing. We could have picked them right then and there. They looked that healthy. So we decided to start our own vegetable plot beside it. We transferred seedlings, watered them with care. But they died some even before they were fully in the ground. Just wilted, like something didn't want them there. And even the flowers, Sampaguita specifically. The scent was strong, especially at night. It clung to the air, thick and sweet. We thought maybe it was just too much, so we tried giving some cuttings to the neighbors to lessen the smell. But no one seemed interested. Some even avoided eye contact, as if they knew something we didn't. Our maid was the first to truly break. At first it seemed small. One afternoon while washing dishes, she suddenly felt someone tug hard at the back of her skirt, like a kid messing around. She snapped, shouting at our youngest brother without turning. But his reply came from across the room. "What is it?" She looked over. He was sitting quietly on the sofa, staring at her. And at her skirt. No one was there. She tried to brush it off. But that night, she saw something or someone standing by the gate. A woman. Long hair, pale dress, unmoving. She squinted, and the figure vanished. Still, she kept going. Until one afternoon, while sweeping near the stairs, she heard footsteps. Heavy ones, slow, coming from above, from that room. That's when her fear stopped being quiet. I got home from school and found my youngest sibling curled up on the couch, pale and shaking. "Kuya," he whispered. "Someone's walking upstairs again." Our sister laughed it off. "You're just scaring yourself." But the maid, she didn't laugh. She stepped closer, clutching the dish towel like a shield. Her voice was low, trembling. "He's telling the truth. I heard it too." I didn't say anything, just grabbed the flashlight and went upstairs. With every step I took, I heard another step echoing above me, slow, deliberate, like someone was pacing with me. The air near the top felt thick and wrong. I could smell something strange, burnt wires, mixed with something damp, like soil left too long in the rain. That room's door was still shut, but the hallway felt like it was holding its breath. I turned around and went back downstairs. "Told you it's nothing," I said. But the maid, she couldn't pretend anymore. She dropped the laundry basket with a loud thud. Her eyes were wild, panicked. "I can't stay here," she said, voice cracking. "There's something upstairs, something watching. I know what I heard. I know what I felt." She started packing that same night. Wouldn't eat, wouldn't talk. When we woke up the next morning, she was gone. Our sister wanted the upstairs room. "Come on," she said, rolling her eyes. "It's just an empty room. All that ghost stuff. Just stories." We hesitated, but deep down, we didn't want to let go of the house. We kept brushing off the signs, the footsteps, the scent, the maid's panic. We thought if we ignored them long enough, they'd go away. We needed this place. We convinced ourselves we could live with the strange. Mom finally gave in, even said she could use the antique cabinet in the room. That first night was calm, too calm. The second night, the house made its move. Her scream shattered everything, sharp, high-pitched, full of terror. Dad rushed up the stairs. The door wouldn't budge. He pounded on it, yelling her name, then started praying, voice cracking. Only then did the door finally open. She was on the floor, frozen stiff, pointing at the cabinet. Her eyes were wide, wild, like she wasn't really seeing us, just something else. She kept screaming, kept trembling. She couldn't stop. We thought we could ignore the darkness in that house, but the darkness was done waiting. I ran outside, yelling for help, but the neighbors were already there, standing by the gate, watching, frozen, like something was keeping them from coming closer. Not fear, not hesitation, something else. Like an invisible line they couldn't cross. Like the house itself was keeping them out and keeping us in. One of them leaned in and asked almost too casually, "What did you see?" Not what happened. Not is she okay, but what did you see? Like they already knew something was in that house. Like they'd been waiting for this. I couldn't answer. My throat dried up. My hands wouldn't stop shaking. That same night, our sister woke up gasping. She said something was sitting on her chest, crushing her lungs, choking her. She could smell burnt wires and manure. The same rotting scent I'd smelled at the top of the stairs. None of us slept. And for the first time, we stopped pretending we were safe. Later, we found out the truth. The house had been repossessed. The family who once lived there had lost everything after falling victim to a scam. The mother couldn't take it. They said she retreated into silence, spending her final days in that upstairs room. They found her there, peaceful, they said, but the kind of peace that feels too still, too final. The neighbors remembered her fondly, said she loved the garden. She would spend hours there, tending every plant like it was her child, especially that forbidden patch. Maybe that's why it flourished. Maybe that's why nothing else would grow. Maybe something had taken root and never left. We thought it was a ghost, but now I'm not so sure. What we felt, what we heard, it didn't feel like grief. It felt like hunger. And that's where we'll end our story for today. Last I heard, the family moved to another town, carrying with them the weight of what happened. The house. No news, no updates, just silence. So if you ever find a beautiful old home with Kappa's windows, a lush garden, and a price too good to be true, ask. Ask again. And listen carefully to what the neighbors don't say. Some houses wait, some houses remember, and some, just like this one, never forgave. You've been listening to another tale from the shadows. Until next time, keepers. We're more than stories, we're feelings in motion.